Are you buying into the lie that it's your unhealed trauma is the reason why you haven't quit watching porn? I hear from a lot of people that talk about addiction, talk about recovery, and even some colleagues that work in this industry. They will say that in order to quit a behavior, in order to overcome an addiction, you must heal deep rooted, deep seated childhood trauma. And while I do believe that there's bits of that that are true, holding on to the premise that the reason why you haven't stopped a behavior, the reason why you haven't stopped taking a substance is due to the fact that you have unhealed trauma, in my opinion, is playing a victim and is holding you back from actually doing what is necessary to get to the root of this behavior, break free, transcend the addiction, so that you can then go on to actually heal the trauma. The other day, I had a conversation with a veteran, somebody that had dedicated his life to serving in our armed forces. He defended this country, incredible man, loved him and respected him for what he did. This gentleman reached out to me. He had seen some of our content. He scheduled a call seeking help, seeking advice, seeking counsel with his addiction. And I could tell from the initial start of the call that this was going to be a challenge. This man reached out to me, and I find myself somebody that is pretty easy to connect with. I always try to create a warm, welcoming environment. But from the beginning of the call, I could tell that this man had a guard up. He didn't want to let me in. Short, simple answers to questions that, if answered correctly, would have revealed a lot to him about his struggles. Now, he kept talking about his trauma, which I'm not negating any of that. This man has seen things in the world that I will never be able to truly understand. But I could tell this man was hurting. I could see it in his eyes. I could hear it in his voice. I could see it in the lack of connection and engagement he was not having with me on the call. And he kept pointing back. He kept taking the conversation back to trauma, to childhood trauma, to PTSD. Now, this man admitted to me that to fight the isolation, to deal with some of the issues that he was facing while in the military, while being departed, that he began to use porn from a very, very young age. See, what this man had done is for his entire life ran from his emotions. Anytime he felt a certain type of way that he wasn't comfortable with, instead of sitting in those emotions, instead of asking the necessary questions, instead of getting to the root of those questions and answers of why he felt the way that he did, he found an outlet. He found an escape tunnel for himself. So he never possessed the ability or developed the ability to truly process his emotions. So to tell a man like that is so out of tune with his emotions, that he must heal his trauma in order to quit a behavior, is setting that man up for a lifetime of failure. He must end the behavior first. He must do whatever it takes necessary to stop using pornography as an escape outlet, to stop using pornography as a way to suppress his emotions. And then when he's triggered, when he's dealing with those issues, when he's dealing with the negative thoughts, when he's dealing with the suppressive feelings, that's where the real healing must take place. But if you're absent of a man that has emotions because you suppressed them for so long, then you're not going to be a man that's going to be able to do the necessary healing work. You must remove yourself from the behavior. You must detach yourself from using that as an outlet and get more in tune with who you are, with who God created you to be. So, yes, I believe you quit the addiction first, and in the process towards your freedom, that's where the real healing takes place. You don't heal from your trauma while you're still using the behavior that is suppressing all of your emotions. Quit the behavior first. And in the process to freedom, that's where the healing takes place. And for some, that process may be a little bit longer. I don't know what wounds are there for you, but I think for many of you, you've just your entire life been afraid of feeling certain emotions. Well, here's one thing I believe to be fundamentally true, that if we want to experience real joy, real happiness, real meaning in this world, then we must understand what the opposite side of that spectrum is. You can't have light without darkness. You can't have white without black. You can't have happiness without sadness. You can't have joy without grief. So for you, if every time you're on the negative end of the emotion spectrum, you're suppressing those feelings by running to pornography, then I can guarantee you, you are not experiencing the positive end of that spectrum to its highest potential. I know for me, the last 5 years have been the greatest years of my life. I've experienced more purpose, more meaning, more happiness, more joy, more peace than ever before. But I can also tell you in this journey, I've experienced more sadness. I've experienced more grief. Now, the thing is, I don't let those feelings control me like they used to. When I feel a certain way on the negative side, I ask the questions. First, what have I done to create these feelings and emotions? Or am I reacting to real things that are happening in my life? The loss of a loved one, the missed opportunity, the failure of trying something and it not succeeding. But I'm not a slave to those anymore like I used to be. Because the younger version of Frank, when he felt that type of way, he ran to pornography, which is probably the same thing that you're doing right now. So you must quit the behavior. And in the process and journey to freedom is where the real healing takes place. For many of you, that may be 3 months, 6 months, a year. I don't know. But if you're struggling with beginning to find some success, beginning to find some freedom, and you're holding on to the belief that it is your trauma, it is the unprocessed and unhealed wounds from your past, then shift your paradigm, shift your perspective. Take the approach of saying, you know what? I'm going to quit this right now. And I know it's not going to be easy, but then the journey to my freedom, I'm going to heal. And in the healing, I'm going to grow into the man that God has called me to be. If you want some help on getting clear on who that man is for you, we've put together a 5-step training to help you identify the vision for your life without pornography. If you visit www.rebuiltrecovery.com/vision, or hit the link down there in the show notes, or if you're watching on YouTube, it's going to be down there in the description box. www.rebuiltrecovery.com/vision. It's a 5-step training. It's absolutely free, guys. Walk you through the blueprint and the outline to get clear on who you can become without pornography in your life. You must quit the behavior first. And in the process and journey to freedom, the healing will take place. God bless you guys. If you're getting value out of these, make sure to hit that subscribe button here on the YouTube side. If you're listening on audio and you want to support this show, leave us a 5-star rating and written review. But gentlemen, if somebody in your life is struggling right now, you know that brother that you can see it in his eyes. Do us the favor and do him the blessing by sharing this conversation or this episode with him today. God bless you guys. Coach Frank here at The Rebuilt Man. We love you. We'll see you in the next one.